All right, after an hour and 30 minutes running on the CNC, we finally have our part off, and now all we need to do is kind of cut it free from the tabs and we'll be in business. Just clean it up a little bit. We'll do a little sanding on it, but basically this is what we're left with. We've got the two pieces here that'll make sure that we get out in any slight angle out of 90 that we have. We've got the two pieces that will go in the middle, and then we've got the piece that goes on top. And so we'll have a knob here to tighten that down, and we'll have a knob holding each of those. But first, before we can do that, we're going to need to get a chisel out, and we're going to need to clean these all up, and then we'll do a little quick sanding, and I will get my box of Rockler jig hardware that I think I'd probably had for going on 5 years. This was a 129 piece Rockler jig hardware kit. I've used pieces and parts out of it, not as much as I thought I would, but it was one of those sale items that seemed like a great deal, and I'm sure it is a great deal. I don't mean to diminish that at all. Okay. So the belief is that we'll take hardware such as this. Oh, and what, you know what? It's a little tight. Well, there's a way to fix everything. I'm looking at that machining, it probably could have been a little bit better. Alright, so the other thing I noticed that I didn't think about actually at the time, I thought about it as it was starting to cut, is that normally when you do a pocket like this for a dado, you actually need to extend the pocketed part out beyond the end of this to avoid this curve that I ended up with here. But it's really not a big deal. I've got, you know, a nice chisel here to make quick work of that. So we just kind of started on the angle and the flat, and we'll just pare it down. And of course, I'm making this for a friend who's in the process of redoing their stairs. And I saw something. I wasn't even thinking about it, but I saw something. I was looking at pictures on Google, as I often do to try and get ideas. I did a Google search for images, and in searching for stair tread designs, because that's one of the things that they would like me to help them with, is actually help them using the CNC machine be able to do some custom carving on their stair treads, you know, for traction, make them not as slippery, to give them make them different, a little bit of uniqueness, personalized to their own tastes. And so I was looking that up, and in my Google search I saw this image, and so I went to the image, went to the site. It was from Woodcraft, and although it, you know, wasn't exactly what this is ending up being, kind of made my own tweak here or there, thinking about what material I had to make it out of. And obviously looking at it, they wanted $100 for this, and I thought, well, there's just no need for that. I've got definitely the ability. I could have cut all of these pieces out without the CNC. There really is nothing on here that you need to have a CNC for. I could have done all of this with a router, straight edge, bandsaw, table saw, you know, jigsaw, you name it. But I like to do things on the computer, and so I saw this, and I thought, oh, I could probably draw something up real quick that could handle that. And so that's what I did. Drew it up and brought it out here and turn the machine on and just let it go. That's one of the reasons that you know, that I, as a you know, somebody who does woodworking, you know, thought, oh, a CNC. You know, I'm not into doing production work. I don't foresee myself, you know, making a living, you know, making CNC signs or something to that effect. But what I do see it for are for making templates. Cutting complex shapes that, well, yeah, you could do it. You could, you know, cut it out, sand to the line, that kind of thing. I wanted to make something that was, I forgot what the hell I was saying. I have to edit all of this out, thanks to Gabriella Kaylin Harvey, who's just come into the shop.
Shut up, Dad.
Shut up, Dad! Shut up! So this is not even going to fit. So they're exactly the same dimension here, but I think that's part of the problem, is that the tall. I should have made it a lot thinner. I basically, what I did is I took the square, or the rectangle rather, that I made for this, and I copied it, dropped it down, shrunk it down, and then did the pocketing and the milling and that on it. But wasn't thinking there. So I think what I probably ought to do is, I don't want a lot of slop in here, but what I probably ought to do is I could just take this on the table saw and just run it through with the, with the blade. So I think that's what I'll do to fix that, so that slides better. Okay, perfect. There we go. All right. Voila, 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 ooh la, ooh la la. Okay. Check the fit here. See how we did. Great. Fits good. Obviously it's well below the surface. So it's kind of what I was going for with this. Okay, anyway. So just to check kind of the fit, we put this down here, screw that down, and essentially all this is to do is, let's say we have this here. We push this into stair or the wall. Once we get it lined up, tighten it down, so the next thing we have left to do on this build is to make this dado a little bit wider, and then sand everything down, and it'll be ready. Okay, well, I can see that my battery is about to die, which happens to me quite a lot, but we are going to try and get this somewhat knocked out here. So I'm just gonna set this here next to it till it starts to raise the blade. That kind of has the height. And then I'll just kind of bring this up over to it. I'm just gonna push that into it, and that, so I have a very snug fit. Now all I'm gonna do, turn that on, and grab my gripper. We'll do one pass on either side to make sure that groove stays centered. Here we go. So I ran a groove down either side, widened it up. This doesn't have to be, super tight. It's got a little play in it now, and now all we're gonna do is we'll be able to push the bolt up through there, and I'm thinking I'll probably put washers on this and give it a coat of something, but just for sake of getting this here to show you guys what I made today. All right. Okay, so that's essentially the stair jig. Okay. Well, basically, as you can see, this is the stair jig. It slides in like that. Either end, these can get your angles just right on the stairs, and you tighten down the knob, and you're good to go. So if you needed to go, any wider than that, you can pull these extensions out, tighten it down, so you got both the angle against the wall, and again, it's probably slight. It may be 88 degrees instead of a 90 degree, or it could be 92 degrees, or something of that effect. Slight angle. But not only can you do that, but you'll also be able to get the length out of it. So that's it for today. This was a really simple build. It probably could have been better. There could be some improvements to it, and really, I think it couldn't have been simpler to make, just with some plywood. And I think that's going to be a very useful jig. That'll be able to do all kinds of stuff. You can stand it up and Hell, you could use that to hold something up even, you know? You know, those cabinet jacks that you hear, you could actually probably use this to help hold something up if you had to. Shelf support, you know, while you're putting a shelf up. So thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned. I've got some new projects coming up. I'll be actually helping a friend out with their stairs. So we plan on doing a bunch of engraving, and yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, everybody, that wraps it up for another episode of Hanging with Harv. Don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and click that subscribe button now and leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought of the project. Thanks a lot. Bye.